The Young and the Restless spoilers. The atmosphere in Genoa City has rarely been calm, but the newest developments swirling around the Newman family, Kane Ashby, Amanda Sinclair, and the unlikely emergence of Holden Novak are setting the stage for one of the most volatile stretches in recent history. The intrigue is layered with corporate deception, legal danger, and the ever-shifting alliances that have always defined the power struggles of this city. Viewers are being teased with the possibility of an undercover operation, a grave hiring miscalculation, and Amanda Sinclair's looming legal troubles. Three threads that seem separate but may weave together into a combustible storm that threatens to engulf every major family in town. At the center of it all is Victor Newman, the master strategist who has built his empire on manipulation and control, yet even he may find himself underestimating how fast the ground can shift beneath his carefully placed chess pieces. Victor's latest maneuver is as bold as it is calculated. Recognizing that his influence is never truly secure, he has tasked his son Nick Newman with the unusual responsibility of forging a bond with Kane Ashby. On the surface, it seems like another attempt to neutralize a potential threat through partnership rather than opposition. Kane, with his history of questionable decisions and complicated loyalties, is not a man Victor would normally consider as an ally. Yet the Chancellor legacy still carries weight in Genoa City, and Victor knows that alliances, however temporary, can fortify his own position. Nick, ever the reluctant soldier in his father's campaigns, is left with the burden of executing this plan, even as he questions the wisdom of tying himself to a man whose reputation has been tainted by schemes, betrayals, and unfinished business. Adam Newman, however, has always been the one to challenge Victor's strategies head-on. Where Nick often expresses his doubts quietly, Adam vocalizes his outright disdain for decisions that seem short-sighted or naive. To Adam, Victor's attempt to bring Kane into the Newman orbit is doomed from the start. He sees Kane as opportunistic, unstable, and far too entangled in his own ambitions to ever serve as a reliable ally. Rather than allow his father's plan to dictate the future, Adam begins to imagine a counterstrike, one that could establish his own dominance by building an alliance of his choosing, outside of Victor's control. It is a dangerous gamble, but Adam thrives on high-risk, high-reward maneuvers, and the prospect of outmaneuvering his father once again is too tantalizing to resist. The figure that may become Adam's unlikely key is Holden Novak, a name that has been hovering on the periphery but now threatens to move squarely into the center of the storm. Holden's recent association with both Adam and Chelsea Lawson raised some eyebrows, but the real twist lies in the fact that Kane himself brought Holden into the fold. In doing so, Kane may have made a miscalculation of staggering proportions. Holden has shown himself to be unreliable, unpredictable, and perhaps even disloyal. What Kane thought was a useful hire may prove to be the very crack in his armor that Adam is waiting to exploit. The possibility of turning Holden into an insider, feeding Adam critical intelligence about Kane's operations, is a tantalizing one. It would give Adam the edge he needs not only to neutralize Kane but also to prove, once again, that Victor's instincts are not infallible. The seeds of betrayal are already being planted, and Holden, ever the drifter searching for purpose, may find Adam's offer too irresistible to decline. If Holden does switch sides, it would mark the beginning of a larger scheme. One that transforms him from a minor player into a pivotal figure. This would not only destabilize Kane's position but also reverberate through Chelsea's world, as her connection to Holden could make her complicit, willingly or unwillingly, in Adam's machinations. Chelsea has always struggled with the pull of Adam's world, knowing full well that aligning herself with him often leads to chaos, yet she has also never been able to fully sever the bond that keeps drawing her back into his orbit. Holden's role may become the very factor that reignites old flames and tests Chelsea's loyalty in ways she did not anticipate. Amid these corporate maneuvers and shifting allegiances, Amanda Sinclair's troubles are simmering to the surface, threatening to boil over into scandal and legal disaster. Amanda has never been a stranger to complicated legal battles, but the whispers around Genoa City suggest that her latest predicament could be the most damaging yet. With her career already under constant scrutiny, one misstep could unravel everything she has worked for. The timing of her crisis could not be worse, as the city is already unstable with corporate wars, family betrayals, and secret operations. The possibility that Amanda's case might somehow intersect with the Newman-Kane-Adam storyline adds another layer of unpredictability. If Amanda finds herself caught between defending her reputation and being drawn into someone else's web of deceit, the fallout could expose vulnerabilities that powerful figures would rather keep hidden. Victor, for all his foresight, may not have accounted for how these storylines collide. His plan to use Nick as the bridge to Kane might already be compromised by Adam's counterscheme, Holden's wavering loyalties, and Amanda's legal entanglements. Nick, who has long struggled with his role as both son and individual, may once again find himself questioning whether his father's empire is worth the personal cost. If Adam succeeds in manipulating Holden, he could pull the rug out from under both Victor and Nick, proving himself the superior tactician in the latest round of Newman family warfare. And yet, Adam's arrogance has undone him before, and the risk of trusting someone as unstable as Holden could lead to his undoing just as quickly as it elevates him. The broader implications for Genoa City are vast. Kane's credibility is already fragile, and if Holden betrays him, the perception of weakness could destroy what little leverage he has left. Amanda's legal battles could expose not just her own vulnerabilities but also secrets connected to her clients and associates. Chelsea's involvement, voluntary or not, might drag her back into a toxic cycle with Adam that she has spent years trying to escape. And through it all, Victor watches, waiting, calculating, never revealing his full hand until the decisive moment arrives. The stage is being set for a convergence of betrayal, ambition, and power plays that could shift the balance of Genoa City for years to come. What makes this arc particularly compelling is the way it blends the personal with the professional, the intimate with the corporate. The Newman family drama has always thrived on this tension, but adding Kane, Amanda, and Holden into the mix ensures that the web of conflict stretches beyond the usual boundaries. Every choice feels loaded with consequences that will reverberate across families and businesses alike. Every alliance carries the risk of betrayal, and every betrayal promises to ignite retaliation. As the pieces move into place, one cannot help but wonder whether Genoa City is on the brink of another seismic shift, the kind that redefines legacies and leaves scars that never fully heal. The fallout from Sally Spector's bold decisions continues to ripple through Genoa City, but her latest move, hiring Audra Charles at Abbott Communications, may prove to be the most dangerous gamble of her professional career. Sally has never been one to shy away from taking risks, often guided more by instinct and determination than by cautious calculation. Yet, in extending her trust to Audra, she may have invited instability into the very foundation of the company she is struggling to build. The decision has already raised alarm bells, particularly for Billy Abbott, whose instincts tell him that Sally may have overlooked the long-term implications of bringing someone like Audra into such a crucial role. What Sally views as a bold step forward could, in fact, be the seed of a slow but inevitable implosion. Audra Charles is not without her charm or persuasive confidence. She has a talent for presenting herself as indispensable, using her assertive voice and strategic vocabulary to convince others that she has everything under control. Yet when the veil of charisma is lifted, her actual track record paints a far murkier picture. Time and again, she has been associated with ventures that collapsed under the weight of poor management, shady dealings, or outright betrayal. Instead of being remembered for building success, Audra's name often lingers in conversations about chaos, missed opportunities, and fractured partnerships. Sally may believe she can control the volatility Audra brings, but history suggests that aligning with her could just as easily sabotage Abbott Communications at its most vulnerable stage. Billy Abbott, though often accused of letting his emotions guide his decisions, is not wrong to be wary. His skepticism is grounded in experience, both personal and professional. Billy has seen firsthand how one bad hire can destroy momentum, poison morale, and even compromise entire companies. For someone like Sally, who is still working tirelessly to establish Abbott Communications as a legitimate competitor in Genoa City, the margin for error is razor thin. If Audra's presence creates even the smallest fissure in the company's structure, it could widen into a crack that swallows all of Sally's ambitions whole. And the irony is cruel. Sally's determination to prove herself independent of the Newman orbit and outside of Jabot's shadow could unravel precisely because she trusted someone whose reputation is built on shifting loyalties and questionable results. The question now is whether Audra's potential sabotage would be intentional or simply the byproduct of her turbulent nature. There is no denying that she is intelligent, resourceful, and unafraid to push boundaries. But those same qualities, unchecked by loyalty or accountability, can just as easily destroy as they can build. Genoa City has seen this pattern before. Ambitious outsiders who enter with promises of innovation, only to leave behind scorched earth. Audra's involvement may not only jeopardize Sally's vision for Abbott Communications but could also threaten to drag Billy back into the kind of professional nightmare he has fought so hard to escape. While the corporate drama simmers, another storm is preparing to descend with the impending return of Amanda Sinclair. Ever since the chaos surrounding the Nice debacle, Amanda has been absent from Genoa City's center stage, leaving viewers to wonder when, and how, she might resurface. Now, whispers suggest that a fresh legal battle may soon draw her back into the fold, thrusting her expertise into the spotlight once again. For someone like Amanda, absence has not dulled her importance. In fact, the anticipation of her return only magnifies the impact she could have on multiple intersecting storylines. The likely catalyst is Kane Ashby, a man whose complicated history with loyalty, betrayal, and ambition continues to haunt him. Despite their tumultuous pasts, Kane values Amanda's counsel, trusting her judgment in ways he rarely extends to others. With his world once again teetering on the edge of crisis, Kane may be the one to summon Amanda back, desperate for the clarity and legal strategy she can provide. If a new scandal or corporate war threatens to undo Kane, Amanda's return could not only stabilize his position but also entangle her in new conflicts that stretch far beyond the courtroom. Yet Kane's motives are rarely straightforward. Even as he leans on Amanda's skills, he may also test her loyalty, probing for weaknesses and attempting to bend her influence to suit his ambitions. Kane has always had a way of complicating alliances, turning even trusted relationships into precarious balancing acts. Amanda, despite her brilliance, is not immune to the emotional undercurrents that Kane stirs up. Returning to Genoa City may mean more than handling a legal matter. It could mean confronting her own vulnerabilities, her unresolved ties to Kane, and the moral gray areas that define both of their lives. The addition of Phyllis Summers to this equation adds yet another volatile layer. Phyllis has always thrived in chaos, often creating as much as she resolves. If she becomes involved in Amanda's return, whether as an ally, a rival, or a catalyst for confrontation, the situation will escalate dramatically. Phyllis's history with Kane is already marked by mistrust and manipulation, and her ability to sniff out weakness could put both Amanda and Kane in uncomfortable positions. The prospect of Phyllis meddling in a situation that demands discretion almost guarantees that secrets will surface, alliances will fracture, and someone will come out of the ordeal more damaged than before. The larger picture suggests that Genoa City is bracing for a convergence of disasters, both corporate and personal. Sally's decision to bring Audra into Abbott Communications risks destabilizing a company that was supposed to represent a fresh start in independence. Billy's instincts tell him trouble is brewing, but whether Sally will listen before it's too late remains to be seen. Meanwhile, Amanda's return threatens to reopen old wounds and create new ones, particularly if Kane uses her as both shield and weapon in his latest schemes. And with Phyllis circling like a hawk, ready to exploit every opportunity for her own advantage, the stakes could not be higher. The brilliance of these intertwining storylines lies in their unpredictability. Each decision, Sally's hire, Amanda's comeback, Kane's reliance on her counsel, is a risk that could pay off or implode spectacularly. Every character is walking a tightrope, balancing ambition against loyalty, risk against reward, and personal history against future opportunity. Genoa City thrives on this kind of tension, where no alliance is safe, no decision is without consequence, and no character can fully control the storm once it begins. As the pieces shift into place, viewers are left wondering whether Abbott Communications will rise as Sally envisions, or collapse under the weight of its own missteps. Will Amanda's return bring stability to Kane, or will it entangle her in a fresh spiral of betrayal and manipulation? And perhaps most tantalizingly, how will Phyllis Summers inject herself into this unfolding drama, ensuring that no one escapes unscathed? The answers will unfold in the coming weeks, but one thing is certain: Genoa City is bracing for impact, and the fallout will be unforgettable.